And I would ask
I'm going to.
Susan to do a roll call.
Mr. Onesi is excused. Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Mr. McCabe is excused. Mr. Ross?
Here.
Ms. Candela?
I'm here.
Thank you. Mr. Cliff?
Here.
Mr. Bridges?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
He's here, he's just outside with a phone.
Okay. And Mr. Krempa?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Introduction of guests, can we start with Mark?
Mark Gabriel, Agency Counsel.
Caroline Crusoe, agency staff.
Niagara, agency staff.
Mike Dudley, agency staff.
David
Dimitri Lasky, agency staff.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Jason, would you lead us, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approval of the meeting transcript that has been given to you. That's been, I believe, sent to everybody. Any questions? That's for July 1st, 2020, correct, Susan?
Yes.
We have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll move.
Jason?
Second.
And second, Cliff, or Robert. Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay. Abstentions? Carried. 6.0 Finance and Audit Committee reports. Kevin is not here. 6.1 Agency payables, June 30th, 2020, as submitted. Susan, I think those are okay. We just go through those.
Mark, can we do those all together?
Yes, we can do those all together unless there's a question.
All right, so 6.2 Budget Variance Report for June 30th, Agency payables for July 31st, and Budget Variance Report for July 31st. I would submit that they've been approved, correct?
So
Mark?
moved.
And as submitted, a motion to approve.
Mr. Ross?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, made by Bill Ross, seconded by Jason Krempa. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay, carried. I don't think we need roll calls on any of those, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Unfinished business, 7.1.
Thank you. LSNY Holdings LLC, a public hearing was held on August 4th at 2 p.m. by teleconference and streaming. There were no guests or comments.
Okay. I believe that you need a final resolution for that, correct, Mark?
That is correct. We'll need a roll call vote on this.
Okay. Can we have a roll call vote on it?
We need a motion.
Motion to approve first, okay, sorry. Mr., let's see, that, a motion made by, Cliff? Is Cliff not back in? Okay. I'm sorry.
Bob Cliff?
Yes,
Bobby, you making that motion?
yes. And a second?
I'll second.
Jason, okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
We'll need a roll call.
Oh,
as well.
roll call, sorry, you're right.
Okay, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Did you hear me okay?
Yes, we did, thank you. Mr. Scott is not here. Mr. Krempa?
Are you still there?
Mr. Crummins, yes.
Okay. And Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Mark, the
Yes.
public hearing's been done, the final resolution for the approval, correct?
Yep, that was, we are all set on 7.1.
Okay, 7.2 Niagara Club, Mark Gabriel?
Yes. Thank you, Jerry. As you know, the Niagara Club is a project that was previously induced by this board. The end of their original one-year inducement expires this coming month. The Niagara Club has requested a 6-month, our standard 6-month extension to this inducement. And for the newer members, just to remind you, the original inducement, when we approve a board, an action by this board, is a 1-year inducement. If it takes longer than a year, then the company can come back to us and requesting additional 6-month inducement extensions. It's been our policy, although it's not written in stone and can be overcome for other reasons, that we usually go to 2 extensions. However, in certain extenuating circumstances, we can't go on. This would be their first extension, so I would request a motion to approve a 6-month inducement extension for the Niagara Club project.
All right, motion to approve.
So moved. Ross.
All right, and a second, Scott, thank you.
We will need a roll call on this. Sue.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. 7.3, Hotel Niagara, Mark Gabriel.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. This is another project this project was induced some time ago. I think we've all remember this, and even the new board members have probably read about it in the paper. It's the revitalization and update of the Hotel Niagara in downtown Niagara Falls. We originally passed a 1-year inducement for this project, which expired, and then they have thereafter our board has also approved already 2 6-month extension inducements for this project. So for a total of 2 years since the original inducement. Because of the circumstances that has slowed down their progress, whether it was the coronavirus or any other issues that are going on in the downtown Niagara Falls area in the hospitality, they are requesting an additional 6-month extension for this project. I believe they are in their letter stating that they plan on closing this matter in the next 60 days. Although this is not against, but certainly we don't go to the 3rd extension very often. This could be deemed one of those extenuating circumstances because of the coronavirus situation. We will request, or I am requesting a board action and resolution granting an additional 6-month extension for the Hotel Niagara at this time.
Need a roll call?
Yes, we will.
Hey, can I ask a question
Sure.
relative to this project? Where are they at construction-wise? I know they have the construction fence up. Have they done anything at that site?
I have no idea. I've actually, it's been I've had, let's say this, I've had no contact at all with their attorneys for over there. So I'm not sure what is really going on, other than what I read in the paper or any conversations that Sue has.
We haven't, they've been, I don't want to say uncommunicative, that we've been proactive, but I haven't heard anything from them.
We have really no idea, except for the letter stating that they're going to be closing in 6 months on this. But
Mark, was this in, and I could have deal merger right now, but is this the same inducement that we gave the time of the Essex letter to about 2 meetings ago?
no.
Okay.
Mark, 60 days is gonna come quick. If they don't close?
Well, they'll have 6 months to close, to the end of the year, and then at that point, this inducement will expire, and it will either expire, which has happened in different projects throughout my tenure here, or they will be back here looking for a 4th extension. That's what we're basically looking at. We've had situations after the 3rd or 2nd or 3rd where, in fact, we have one right now out of North Tonawanda that it expired after an extension, and finally 2 to 2.5 years later, you're going to see this potentially an application in the next couple of weeks where that project's being revisited.
I will say this about the Hotel Niagara, they've been talking to USA Niagara, Anthony Velardo, within the last month or so. So, Andrea had a conversation with him,
Yeah,
indicating they're gonna go forward.
and Cliff, just to let you know, and that's the only conversations I've had, not with council, but again, I've had contact with Anthony Gallardo at the state, and Anthony, was fairly positive that this was going to go forward, was hoping.
It's just a high-profile project down there, and I think it's my hope, because I live down there, that they can close and ultimately begin construction. When you see the construction fence, and there hasn't been any activity over the last year, you just wonder if this is the right approach. Do we need to push a little bit harder relative to getting them started, closing?
Yeah, I learned early on, just, and that's exactly the tack that we discussed, and Sue discussed, over a year ago. And we found that, our benefits are very important to them, but they're locked. The state has really taken the ball on this one with the RP and everything else, and according, again, with Anthony, any issues that are taking place seem to be the only group that can overcome those issues with the company is going to be the state, not us. So I think we can push all we want. And again, at the same time, what Sue's pointed out so rightly, it's a very high profile, project. And I certainly, I know in Sue's own words, we don't want to be the one that cuts it off now if there is a chance for it to go forward, and we'll give it the benefit of the doubt for at least a little bit more until we get good answers. And that would be, I think, Sue's recommendation, correct?
Yes.
And I agree with you, Mark, it is a high profile. When you look at it, it's probably one of the two iconic buildings down in downtown Niagara Falls, built in 24, United Flame built in 29. But I just got one question. There was a Syracuse firm, the guy that developed the Hotel Syracuse did a great job. There
This is
were
the
ones
guy.
that remember the old Hotel Syracuse and the new one. Is he still in on that? Because I've lost it.
Yeah, he's the same guy.
All right, that answers my question.
What year was that built?
When that
24.
Syracuse?
No.
Oh, 24.
You went to your prom there?
I had my prom.
When it opened?
And my prom was ruined, my mother and father came. Although I wish I had it today.
So I will need a, if the, unless if there's,
That's why.
if there's some, we'll need a resolution.
Oh, we need a motion.
Roll call, and a
I'll make
motion.
the motion.
Thank you. Scott,
Duly made, thank you, Mr.
Second.
Bridges. Second? Scott? All right, thank you. And,
roll call.
roll call vote.
Okay, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
yes,
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Motion's carried. Thank you.
Okay, new business, 8-1. Scalo, 1 East Avenue LLC.
Thank you. This project is located in 1 East Avenue in the city of Lockport. The applicant is requesting a 10-year pilot, sales tax abatement, and mortgage tax, recording tax abatement. The building pictured used to be the main U.S. post office in Lockport, built in 1904. It has been vacant in recent times, except for a few tenants. The building is to be restored inside and out, and then will be, portions of it will be leased out to business. The total project cost is $6,057,760, with projected employment increasing by 27. And it should be noted for the board that this project is located in a distressed census location. And Mr. Chiazza is here to further speak on the project and answer any questions.
Morning, Commissioner Lee.
If you could just come forward.
Morning, everybody. Morning, board members and staff. Pleasure to be in front of you this morning. Good morning. It's a nice story, actually. Paul and Scott and I have been working together for about 15 years. We're based in Williamsville. Most of us live in north parts of Erie County and travel to Niagara County often. Paul had taken his family from 2015 to Lockport. He does from time to time for dinner. And as he typically does, he starts driving around afterwards, came back, and the next day we're in the office, says, I was on the Lockport yesterday, I always liked Lockport. I think its worst days are behind us, best days are in front of us. We really should take a look around there and see if there's something we can invest in. Wasn't, long, it wasn't long after that, we received an email from a broker that had a listing for the post office building in Lockport. So we went to look at it. We thought, well, this is a perfect building for us. It kind of fits all of our boxes, check boxes. It's kind of historic building, we'd like to do those. It's right in the heart of downtown. We see the Palace Theater and the Auditorium Arena at that time it was opening up. And then, you know, it's not far from the canals. It's one of those areas that we said if we were gonna pick a spot, that was the place we put our toe in the water. So we purchased the building and it seemed like a bargain at the time. It was only several $1,000 to buy it. But characteristic of us, we did not do a ton of detailed due diligence on it, but realized that once we got into it, it was a building that needed a ton of work. When the post office sold, I think it was 1992, there was a couple that bought it. Done some reasonable efforts to try and get the building rejuvenated again, but they were kind of casual efforts. They weren't really deep, fundamental restoration efforts. So if you look at the building in the upper floors, it had not been touched, and the lower level was completely vacant. We said, what we really have is the main floor here, but we got to be able to make economic sense of the balance of the building. In the meantime, we tried to figure that out, and we just carried the building. It loses about $75,000 or $80,000 a year. That's not reflected in the application. But when the city had the opportunity to compete for the DRI, the state downtown revitalization award, competitive round, we certainly submitted an application, participated in that, and thankfully the city was awarded that money and were able to get an allocation of that, which was really the difference maker for us going forward with the building. So we kind of see the building in its current form, kind of sitting there in Lenny's Avenue, its great location, being a nice spot for a mix of uses. We looked at residential on the upper two floors, couldn't really make sense of it. Once again, it's on the natural register of historic places, so it's not easy to convert these things economically. But the building was set up already with a courthouse and offices, so we thought let's try and rejuvenate that and refresh it for offices. The lower level, which has nice taller ceilings, we thought we could bring in a mix of studios and boutiques like artist studios, like those kinds of things. The main floor can kind of continue to be what it is, but renovated with a mix of uses from retail to shops and other types of things, and potentially a restaurant. There was a small restaurant there when we bought the building, but it didn't last very long. And the building lacks restaurant infrastructure, hood, grease trap, those kinds of things, so we have money in the budget to kind of attract a restaurant and kind of keep the cost down for the restaurant. It's a very risky enterprise. So that's kind of our vision for the building, but we're just waiting for the mix of ingredients, the capital stack, if you will, to kind of make it make economic sense. We're well into design at this point because of the grant, and we're working closely with Five Star Bank. We expect them to be our lender and the purchaser of the tax credits. So we're working very actively on that. We're going to be ready to submit our Part 2 to the State Historic Preservation Office and Park Service for their review, and hope to be construction on the exterior restoration this fall. A very limited season to do that kind of work, and then start the interior work later this fall into winter, carrying into 2021. As a brief summary, certainly here to answer any questions that you have.
I take it you might be struggling a little with historical preservation, because the price really runs high there. I know that.
Because the building does not have, it's not handicap accessible, there's no elevator in the building. There's no sprinkler system in the building, so to give us the widest range of uses for like a restaurant, add those things in a regular building would be a challenge. Doing it in an historic building with all the historic fabric we have to protect increases those costs of stage shapes. Yes, you're correct. I'm sure they're facing that at the hotel in Niagara.
Well, you got a good location, because you really, at one east end, you're the key, you know, the main drag there with a lot of business, a lot of attorneys, a lot of other offices all the way down. Good location.
All right, we need any other questions, discussion? We need a roll call vote to accept the application.
Correct, but not on the hearing date.
Pardon?
And then just not on the hearing date, just the application.
Right.
And I have a motion, need a motion first.
Need a motion first?
Correct.
Mr. Bridges, motion, second? Okay, any discussion? Or now take the vote, please.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott? Momentarily out of the room. Mr. Krempa?
Yeah.
And Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Carried.
Okay, and then we need a motion to authorize the public hearing date. Mr. Cliff, thank you. Mr. Bridges, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay, abstentions, carried. Susan will set that hearing date, correct?
Yep.
Okay, 8.2, Zimmy Service.
Thank you. This project is located on 1 Niagara Street in the city of Lockport. The applicant is requesting a 10-year pilot, sales tax abatement, and mortgage reporting tax abatement. Zimmy's Tire and Service is a full-service auto repair and maintenance shop, which is family-owned and has been operating in Lockport since 1943. This project consists of tearing down a 12,000 square foot portion of the existing building, which will then be rebuilt in a double the size fashion. They will also be purchasing new equipment, the 4-post truck lift, as well as a 2-post car lift, which will allow them to better serve their clientele and enhance the capabilities of the shop. The total project cost is $435,000. They are projecting to hire 1 new employee, and it should be noted for the board that this project is formidable since it is located in a distressed and cracked location.
Gary, if I may before.
Yes.
As you can tell, the applicant isn't here today, but I guess we should have mentioned, we gave this applicant as well as the prior applicant the option of either showing up or not showing up because of today's coronavirus issues. So, obviously the last one chose to show up, this one did not.
Any questions, discussion?
One quick question, as this is a service center, and if we end up, with a legal position on the property, are there any environmental concerns that would, fall on the IDA as owner of record on the property with the lease back? Is there any concerns along those lines, or
No, the way we've done it, and I'm glad you asked that question, the way we've now structured our IDA projects, we don't take a fee interest anymore, we don't have a leasehold interest, which is great, so it limits that. In addition, as part of, other than the seeker, and the environmental, the original environmental, review, we also have a, environmental compliance agreement that they sign, at the time of closing.
Okay.
So that, with hold harmless and indemnification provisions all built in.
Okay. I just would, if, with it being what it is, they go after the entity that's got the deepest pockets, and if, the folks that own this have no pockets left.
That's right.
There's always.
And again, we have no, which is nice, is we don't have custody and control.
Okay.
We will never have custody and control, so they can't come back at us.
Just an idea where the location is, right behind the Lockport Muni Building now. You always see that sign Zimmy's there, where the water bridge is, right behind the Muni
Oh,
Building.
yeah.
Yeah, you've seen it many times,
Yeah.
because the words are real big, man, Zimmy.
Yeah. You drive by it and
Right.
you miss it in plain sight.
Any other discussion or
That was no
questions?
question, I don't know.
The application, we need a roll call vote. Do we need a motion first? Motion first, please. All right, Jason Krempa, second.
I'll move it, Jerry.
Bill
Or
Ross.
second.
Okay, Mr. Ross?
Yep.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Carried.
We need a motion for a public hearing date. Mr. Bridges, and second, Mr. Scott, or Mr. Cliff. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions, carried. 8.3, micro grant applications, Jason Krempa. 8.31.
Sounds good. So in committee a couple of weeks ago, the date I forget, we had 2 requests for micro grants that came across. I want to preface this with saying that that the agency is bouncing up against its cap for the grant availability. So, what we approved, or what we recommended for approval, I'm sorry, in committee was, a reduced amount for each of these two grant applications to what we would consider to be hard costs. For Bridget Peters, VP signs, the grant request came in for $22,500. That was a combination of some hard costs as well as, I believe, some inventory and potentially a small working capital piece. What we recommended for approval was, the cost of a, high-end multicolored printer, which was $16,390. And then the same for BP sign, the same for the Young Street Diner, which came in as a request for $25,000. They wanted some coolers and some, some freezers, as well as a number of other items. We recommended that, we approve them for a grant in the amount of $10,260. That will take the total, approved grants to $176,650, which will actually reduce the administrative fee that the agency can take by $6,650. The detail for the grant requests are in the write-ups here. I'm not sure if we need to recap those at this point, but, I would recommend, barring anybody wanting any additional detail, that we recommend that we approve the two grant applications for the reduced amounts, again, from $22,500 to $16,390, and from $25,000 to $10,260.
All right, Jason, I would take that as a motion to approve. We'll do them individually for the $16,390 for BP Sign Company, correct?
Yes.
Second for that item?
I'm gonna second that one, Jerry.
Mr. Ross, any discussion? All those in favor signify.
Need a roll call on this one.
Roll call, okay, sorry.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes. Okay, the second one is for Young Street Diner for $10,260. That's a motion by Mr. Krumpa and a second by Mr. Bridges. Roll call vote.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Carried.
Okay, that completes that. 8.4, loan requests, help loan requests. Jason?
All right, at our last meeting, over the phone for our last meeting, we discussed at length the help loans. I believe we had 27 help loans that got approved at the previous meeting. I could be off on that by a small number. We had 3 additional requests that came in, all under the same terms and conditions. One for the Best Western Summit Inn for $117,467. One for America's Best Value Inn for $87,178, and one for the Sands Motel for $13,826. All based on the requirements that have been set forth previously. 2019 taxes were what they were, and the assumption of the small increase. I would request that we move forward and approve those 3. I guess we have to make 3 individual motions as well.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll start with 8.41 for the Best Western Summit Inn for $117,467 loan, and that's been duly made by Jason and seconded by Mr. Cliff, and the roll call vote.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes. All right, the second motion that Jason Krumpa is making is for the American Best Value Inn, a loan of $87,178, and that's been made by Jason Krumpa and seconded by Mr. Bridges. Roll call vote.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Carried.
And 8.43, is a motion by Jason Kruppa for recommending a loan for the Sands Motel of $13,826. And that was made by Jason Kruppa, motion, and the second by Cliff Scott. All those in favor, please, roll call vote.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
yes,
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Carried.
A lot of work, Jason. Thank you for getting aboard for a new member. That's a lot of work. Thank you very
Jerry, if
much.
I could interject very quickly, just as an update for everyone. As you probably know, Andrea has been taking the bull by the horn in regards to,
She's the one that did all of it. Not me.
in regards to getting an additional grant from the EDA so we can continue with these health loans. Just to let you know, out of the last crew, we've expended all the available funds in both their HUD loan fund and the EDA loan fund. It's been, I believe we've closed loans in excess or close to $1.6 million, which has been great. I know the companies have been more than pleased with this, and it helps them get through these times. Even under that circumstances, notwithstanding these 3 new ones, there were still 4 other ones still pending that we just didn't have funds for. With the advent of this new grant, this should be enough to cover everything that's been approved to date, plus these 3 that this board has just approved. So we will be well over the $2 million mark for your account.
Great.
Now, on this hospital, the emergency loan program, are there any others coming up in the near future?
We're not sure, and nor are we, we may not be in a position based upon, once we do the math, and I'm gonna sit down actually with Mike later and go through where we're going to be on both loan funds, after these loans.
And circle that,
We're pretty much exhausted.
okay, that's what I thought.
Any other discussion? Thank you very much, Mark. 8.5 Cataract Grant Fund. Mrs. Kleiser.
Thank you. The first one, LSNY is, I'm sorry, is that the Cashmere?
Yes.
This Cashmere, okay, I just want to check on that, okay. So, on July 29th, the committee, entertained an application for the Center for Cashmere, which is to be located at 650 Park Place in the city of Niagara Falls. The Cashmere Museum will be an art gallery, a library, it'll have audio-visual stations. It will have a gift shop, refreshment area. The total project cost is $1,365,000. They requested $300,000. As you know, that's 22%. As you know, we set a ceiling of a 20%. So the request that was approved through that committee was $273,000.
All right, a motion for approval by,
I'm gonna move that.
by Mr. Ross, a second by Mr. Bridges. All those, roll call vote.
Hey, can we, what's this Western, WNYPPAB, what is that factor? At the bottom, other sources of funds?
Oh, that's Western New York Power Proceeds application. They are applying to, or have applied to the Western New York Power Proceeds Board.
And as a reminder for the board, on this cataract grant fund, this is a reimbursable grant only. So if it is not built, they don't get the money. They have a certain amount of time to complete the project, get a C of O. Upon getting their C of O, they have to provide us with a certification as to the cost from a certified public accountant. And once that's approved, only then will we provide them with a reimbursable grant at that time. So it's a well-protected fund. If you build it, we'll give it to you. If you don't, you don't.
Believe me, it's well protected.
Yes, we are protected.
Funds is still there. Just location, that's at Main and Pine behind that statue. It's an old quaint church. A lot of you people will look at that statue there. If you look behind the statue, you'll see that church where they want to set up that museum. 800,000 volumes. I don't know where they're going to put them, but that what it said?
Yeah, they have a lot of the artwork out
I
there.
know, I was amazed. Shut my mouth.
I believe we had a roll call, or we had a motion by,
Mr. Ross.
Ross and a second, Mr. Bridges, roll call vote.
Okay, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
yes,
Mr. Clip?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, Mrs. Pysack, 8.52.
Red Star Builders, extension request. Red Star, Builders is the Niagara Club.
The legal entity from that, correct.
Yes, the Niagara Club. That project was a phased project. The first phase, which was the spot coffee, has been completed. The following phases, they're asking for an extension because they are primarily, tourism business, and obviously, as we all know, the tourism industry is not doing well right now. So they're asking for an extension request.
Do we need just a motion or roll call?
I'm gonna
Mr.
move that
Gabriel?
one too, Jerry.
Mr. Gabriel?
Yeah, Jerry, you need a roll call vote.
We need a roll call
We
vote.
will on this.
All right, we need a motion for the Red Star. I would,
I move it.
Mr. Ross, second by Mr. Cliff. Any roll call vote?
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
yes,
Mr. Clip?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Carried.
All right, 8.53, Niagara Falls, New York Hotel Management LLC.
My understanding, Mark, do you want to address this, or is
Well,
it,
sure,
the
it's just,
project's no longer moving forward, so I'm not sure what the motion would be.
there isn't, it's only on for informational purposes only.
Okay.
Just so that the board realizes that this was a significant grant request that was previously approved by this board. That money now would be back into the grant, it would no longer be reserved and would be available down the line for additional applications.
What's the balance of that account as far as current status?
Right now, probably with that bringing back in, it's probably close to the $2 million, Mike.
No, that included,
No, it's more than that.
477,000, so they've been awarded $2 million.
When is the last funding from Senator Orr?
Year or two.
2018.
Yeah.
So, do we have any knowledge as to whether that was in the funding for 2019 or not?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
We had no knowledge of the first one, so.
It just came across our desk.
Well, you've had three. You had 216, 217, and 218. But things have changed in the state senate, so I think it'll be kind of slow, don't you, Mark?
Yeah, the economy's, I don't think that's money that's gonna be available soon.
But still, we got a lot of money in that fund. Family venues, come on down.
Actually, to correct my statement, I said, if that one stays in, we get 477,000. But we just approved the LSNY one for 273, so it wouldn't be, just be a little over 200,000 left.
I can understand.
Plus 2 million.
Plus the 2 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate the update. I think that's good for our minutes to have that dollar amount.
There's a schedule in your package.
Yeah, it was in the initial.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Next on agency council, Mr. Gabriel.
Yes, we're going to, at this time, request an executive session to discuss a couple of personnel matters and a staffing issue. We do not anticipate, for those watching live stream, we do not anticipate any action being taken out. Once we get out of executive session, we assume we're literally just going to go to adjournment. So I'll need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved. A second. Mr. Krumpa, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay, carried. Okay.
Okay.